Before history is written, it's played. Before it's frozen in time, it's fought one shift at a time. Before it's etched in silver, it's carved in ice. What happens next will last forever. The Stanley Cup Final on ABC and ESPN Plus begins Saturday.
I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on earth. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Most Haunted City on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And today we have some very special guests that you might recognize if you have been in the ghost scene for a little bit. We have the Ghost Brothers with us.
Hey,
what's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
So, y'all, for those of our listeners who may not know or haven't seen your show, would you like to introduce yourselves, give yourself a little background?
You know what? There's nothing more I would love to do than introduce myself right now. Okay. My name is Dalen Spratt, and for those that don't know, I am the bad boy of paranormal himself, a.k.a. Sexual Chocolate, a.k.a. the leader of the Ghost Brothers, a.k.a. I am better than Juwan and Marcus, look better than Juwan and Marcus, and it's my show, but I just let them own it.
Hey guys, I am Marcus, the actual entertainment of the show, the actual one with talent. Dalen. Nah, man, I'm part of I'm 1/3 of the illustrious, electronic.
Ooh, give me one more.
Electrifying.
One more.
Death-defying.
Oh, wow. We ride motorcycles.
Yeah, well, not definitely with helmets, but not fast motorcycles. Motorcycles you just put in the city.
They got three wheels.
Whoa, it's a little fast for me. I am the Marcus Harvey, a.k.a. Hot Ham and Cheese. Ooh. Sticking to the roof of your mouth, ladies. That used to be my old stripper name back in the day, so don't judge me.
Crazy. But last, certainly not least.
Not least.
Okay.
It is.
Who is he?
Jawan and only.
Ooh. Oh, it's
I like
that's
that.
a nickname.
Paranormal Poppy, ladies and gentlemen. I am another third of the Ghost Brothers. I am been voted the sexiest of the Ghost Brothers.
But that is still up for debate.
That is definitely because
once it hits the internet, it's pretty much fact.
Because the ladies love big boned men. You know what I'm saying? They love big boned men during this time of season.
Listen, you should have stuck with it because then you drop weight. And
you lost.
Couldn't hold that position.
Couldn't hold the chubby, lovable.
For all the chubby
characters.
chasers, Marcus was out there waiting.
I was waiting, and y'all didn't say nothing. Except for Tina.
Thank y'all so much for having us. We are excited.
Naturally.
Yes, well, thank y'all for carving out some time because if you didn't know, they are here in Savannah right now for their Ghost Brothers Savannah Takeover, which is just going to be an insane weekend. And I know y'all are going to be going so hard, so we really appreciate you coming out and actually being able to spend an hour with us and talking and telling your stories to our listeners. So it's really exciting. Now, I do want to start out with the first thing, and probably the biggest question that we've gotten from our listeners when they found out that y'all were coming on the show. You always tease that, you started getting into the paranormal because you each had your own experiences when you were kids, but you never told us the story. So what's the story? How'd you get into this?
It changes every 5 stories. No, just playing.
Okay.
And it's really if we tell you now, it's like we're locked in.
Yeah, and
that's fair.
No, that makes perfect sense. And,
yes.
and it's interesting because I think every ghost hunting show has the secret story,
the
origin story that drives it. But I think in that regard, it's if we're not going to get into specifics, if we followed into how did your paths cross?
I could definitely do. I got you for that one.
You sure?
Yeah, I got you for that one. Me and Dalen met first. I was selling him crack, and
that was the early '80s.
He was on that stuff. I'm just gonna put that out there.
When they got to me, he was strung out.
He was a lot of hot winters and cold summers.
It was wild.
But I had a younger brother at the time when we all grew up together. And literally one day it was raining. And he went outside and like he had this little toy boat, and he was just playing with it outside.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it was just floating down the street, and he was chasing after it. And I think like maybe the boat went into the drain or something.
Right.
Some got him.
Yeah,
Saw his first clown.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So me, Juwan, and Marcus came together after that, and we was just determined to try to find my little brother. But
it's amazing.
Yeah,
Bro, hold it
yeah.
together. Hold it together.
I'm trying, Juwan.
Y'all got tissue?
Hold on a second, man.
I think we do.
Because we couldn't find the little.
We ain't seen him since.
But that boat is still a ruin.
Does it still float too? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. They all float.
It gets crazy.
Everyone floats.
It's
That's
crazy.
true.
It's crazy out here.
Nah,
You know,
man.
none of you look like you're from Maine.
Yeah, right. No. This
Well, there was one of us.
This was
There's one in Maine.
In all of Maine.
All of Maine. I don't know how he got there.
This was on the south side of Atlanta.
Okay, gotcha.
Trenches.
Nah, man, we all had our own individual stories, man, growing up. Like, I know for me personally, I used to visit my grandmother all the time when I was little, like 7 years old, in a small town in West Texas called McCamey. And I never forget, I went to visit her one spring break, and I had an older cousin who was in her 20s. And she had a best friend. Her best friend was dating a guy. He worked for the animal control. And they got into a domestic dispute. He ran outside to his truck and pulled out his rifle. He shot her once in the head and shot himself in the head. True story. She survived. He passed away. This is a small town in West Texas. Everybody knows everybody. So my grandmother decided to go view the body of the young man because, like I said, everybody knew everybody. So her and her friend took me with them to this funeral home to visit and see this young man. And I never forget walking into the church. His body was in the casket at the front of the church. We walk in, and he's wearing like this light gray suit, white shirt, and a thin black tie. And I remember thinking to myself and asking my grandmother, I was like, I thought you said he shot himself. Like, even at 7, I've seen enough cartoons like Daffy Duck. You blow yourself with a shot, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
At least your bill flips around.
Wait, so you were expecting
your whole jaw.
You expected homie to have a blown off bill?
At 7 years old, yes.
Okay, I can
hole in
understand
his
that.
face.
I was expecting to see a hole in this dude's face, but
They
he
gonna-
literally looked like he was just asleep, like there was nothing wrong with him.
Really?
Yeah, and my grandma was like, "Oh, this funeral home just does a great job."
Yeah, that's a testimony to that.
Yeah,
Art, right.
like listen, New Bethel Funeral Home, grade A service, y'all.
She said, they got my business, baby. They got my
already
business.
paid
Look at
over
him. Look at him. Look at him. This whole face is together.
But nah, my grandmother's friend looked at me and said, "Dalen, have you ever touched a dead body before?"
Boy.
Y'all, I'm 7.
No.
I'm 7.
And you wanted to tell her yes? but you
Sure,
didn't wanna
lady.
get
All,
trouble?
West Side, all the time.
All day.
All the time.
I saw a dead body yesterday.
Right.
And it's going to be your.
This lady grabbed my hand at 7 and put it on the chest of this young man in the casket. This is true story. I'm looking at my grandmother like, you not finna do nothing to your friend? Yeah. First of all, you're too old to be hanging around bad influences. That's first and foremost. But literally, I jacked my hand off the guy's chest and I ran out the sanctuary like screaming. And there, of course, they came and got me. Whatever, we left. And then that night, I was asleep on my grandmother's couch, similar to this one, but it had plastic on it.
Okay.
Okay, I
And
can
I
definitely
was
see
like
that.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
How hot was it? First off, how hot was it?
It's spring break
Okay.
in Texas.
Okay, so it's
So
like,
they had to
it's
peel
getting
you
hot
off.
out.
You didn't just get up.
You
They
didn't
had
get
to
up.
peel
I'm
you off.
sweating.
yeah, you got suctioned
What's
off.
the sound effect?
Man, I wake up at 3 and I look into the kitchen and standing in the door frame, I promise you, was that same young man wearing the same light gray jacket, white shirt, skinny black tie. And he was linked up against the wall frame, just staring at me. And I screamed to the top of my lungs. Like my grandmother came running in the room. Like Marcus said, we make a joke out of it, but she literally had to peel me off of this couch. Like I was stuck to it, sweating, screaming. And I just remember
Sweating,
pointing.
screaming.
And she looked, and he was gone.
Crazy.
My man was sweating, screaming, and
man.
stuck.
It's stuck. And
All
my tiny
S's.
whiteies, though.
Oh,
On the
man.
damn thing.
Interesting theory. Maybe you witnessed your grandmother's booty call.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Earl. I think that might have been Mr. Earl.
First of all, my grandmother's a saint.
Listen, all right. All
Watch how you
right.
talk about my grandmama.
All right. You know how them saints be.
Right. Yeah.
Them saints be a little tainted, baby. Come on now. That's how they became saints.
Yeah.
What about you, Juwan?
I had I was gonna say a similar experience. I was young. It was in a small town, actually in Mississippi, my grandmother's town, and there was a cemetery that was across the street from my grandmother's house. And so, like as kids in the neighborhood, we used to dare each other to try to run through that cemetery, and kind of like on the show, I'm usually the one that just kind of takes that task. Like, you know what, I got it. I'll go for it. So I started out in the cemetery, and I took off running. And like all of a sudden I feel like this presence of something behind me immediately. I don't know what it is. And I turn around and I don't see anything. I'm still running. And I still feel this presence. And I'm like, yo, is this one of the other kids? Like, I don't see what's happening here. I turn around, I still don't see anything. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, can you even outrun a ghost? If that's a thing, right? Like, I just don't know what it is. I'm just running. Mm-hmm. I'm probably like 10, 12 years old at this time. But
you don't see the 3 security guards chasing your ass.
Hey, no, man, you know it's my job. He got the inhaler out and everything.
That's why he thought it was a ghost. That man had asthma.
That's what I heard in my ear.
Hold on a second, young fella.
As I'm hopping over gravestones, that's what I hear in my ear.
That's him saying, ooh, I can't wait to catch you.
Haunts your dreams.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm tired of you kids in this room.
That's all that is.
But that was my first introduction to like being in a place and feeling like the presence of something that I couldn't see.
Okay.
And like I was like, I don't know what I was running from, but I was just running with like no explanation.
He said, I was running.
Well, as you can see, those two stories have literally contaminating a death scene with him and trespassing. Mine was legal, so we were actually doing the show when I had my first experience with the paranormal, which was kind of unique. I think that's what made the whole situation with us coming together and teaming up, real cool, because they had already had experiences like I was like, only experience that I've had with ghosts was the Holy Ghost. And that's scripture based. Come on, church. Ebo Shatta. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I would say that my first experience was when we were at Sorrel-Weed House, actually, where we're going to be investigating tonight. And we were in the enslaved quarters. Upstairs. Of course, a lot of you know the story. Mm-hmm. And this was my first actual opportunity to investigate the paranormal. These two gentlemen left me on a solo trip in that room, so I was isolated. And just to see like the lights flickering and literally feel a presence is something that I was like, okay, this is actually real. And then to actually see a shadow figure appear, it was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. So, mine was a little bit more when I was an adult, unless when it did happen when I was a kid, I just blocked it out of my mind. I'm pretty sure I probably did that.
At that point, you probably labeled it as an imaginary friend.
Yeah, that's my imaginary friend, Henry, or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's making stuff move. But, so now that we've been doing the show, man, it's like I'm a firm believer in this stuff, seeing it, countless times, countless investigations. Like, this is a wild world, man.
It's a wild world.
It's a wild world.
Wild place, baby.
Wild place, baby.
Gets
Them
dangerous.
ghosts, they some wild boys.
Well, how do you go from interest in the paranormal to investigation? Like, what path did you take? Or was the show the impetus for doing were you doing investigations prior to the show, or was it?
It was definitely the impetus.
Yeah. Awesome.
He liked that word so much that he wanted to
reuse it.
Yeah.
I was like, don't try to
right, but he's gonna use it.
definition into the word. We caught what you was picking up, baby.
He was like, he said the impetus. Okay, yeah,
it definitely was the
answer. Hey,
it definitely was the beginning of our journey.
that was
People don't even know that about us. I think that's what made the people that love us actually love the show, because we had no background in paranormal at all. And to be completely honest, it came from a simple idea of us watching one of the paranormal shows one night, just being on television and not seeing any black people doing it. and just asking that simple question, like, why are there not any black people on television hunting ghosts? Then we quickly found out there weren't that many black people
Hunting ghosts. Because black folks really don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, it's a lot more people now, but I'm talking about go back 10 years ago.
Yeah,
10 to 15 years ago. It was real quiet, and hush was the word about black ghost hunters. So we literally searched high and low. I remember us going on Facebook about 10 years ago and typing in paranormal investigation or paranormal groups and getting like thousands of Facebook groups of people all over the country. And we literally wrote out one big message. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're looking for black ghost hunters, da-da-da. Are there any in your organization? Do you know anyone? Can you put us in contact? We sent out about 1,000 messages, and literally every day we would go back and check responses, and it would be like, the first message, black ghost hunter, ha, 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 ha.
They had to put all the A's in
They
there.
put like H-A-H-A-H-A.
Not just A's.
There was one that had question marks, like they didn't know what black or ghost hunter was.
What?
They come in that form?
Oh, they don't make those.
That model hasn't been executed
Right.
yet.
But literally, we couldn't
that
find
model.
not a single person. It was one psychic lady in like England, and I think she might have been mixed.
Yeah, okay.
She was like, my granddaddy was black. Did that count?
Does that count?
But we could find no one, so we just did it one time ourselves.
One
and we shot a
time.
video, edited it down to maybe a minute and a half of just us running and screaming and not really knowing what we were doing because we didn't have any equipment, no cameras, no money, nothing. And we put it on YouTube, and that was it. And
That is amazing.
5 years later, I'm in LA, Juwan's in Atlanta working, Marcus is building his own shop. Get a random email.
And then the impetus came.
And this is when the impetus comes.
Yeah.
This is when this starts.
This is when impetality is happening.
Impetality?
If impetality is
The
happening.
empanadas definitely was brought to the table.
Implementation.
right now.
The embolizing.
The emperor's eyes was staring. But no, a random email. It was a television production company. They said that they were working with a television network. They were interested in producing a show about black ghost hunters. They said that the only clip that they could find of black people ghost hunting was this 1 minute clip that we posted on YouTube 5 years earlier.
Wow.
So they say, we just have one question for you. Like, are you and those guys on that film, like,
Are y'all
are
really
y'all
black?
professional? Right. Are y'all really black?
Well, first off,
Let's start
we
there.
want to make sure that we're PC.
We're checking the box
Hey,
here.
this
I
is
just
Tom
want you
here.
to know.
This is Tom
They
here.
said, are y'all black? No, African
African
American.
American.
We can't say color. I mean, no, we can't go there.
Right. But no. So they was like, no,
I
but
love
serious
the
question. You
uncomfortableness
guys
of it.
are professional paranormal investigators. Mind you, we've only done it for 20 minutes 6 years ago on a YouTube video. But you know, we some hustlers.
But in actuality, think about it.
It's like,
Are we professional?
it's like,
Listen,
if you want us
we-
to be.
Listen, Hulk Hogan loves him. Michael Jordan.
All of them love
and
us.
Emmitt Smith.
All-
What do they have in common with us? We all professionals, baby.
Okay.
I was wondering where it was
I
going.
was wondering. Goats and
basically,
professionals. Okay.
We lied.
Oh, man.
We lied. We lied to them folks because I'm like, if you bold enough to send me an email and call me and ask me this very specific question, I need to know where this is going.
We're here
Right.
now.
I'm not gonna cut it off at the ankles until
Yeah.
you know. You know what I
I'd love to
mean?
hear the definition of professional
Yeah.
ghost hunter.
Right.
Yeah, man, we got
Yeah, there's a wide open field there.
man, we got EKG meters and we got
spelling it wrong. We got KEG,
we got
baby.
proton packs. Man, we are ready to go.
CTE. Wait, no, that's not it. That's funny. I got a phone call right after that, like, yo, Juwan, if you get a call, just say your yes.
Just say
Say
yes.
your yes.
Just
Whatever
say
they
your
ask you.
yes.
Just say your yes.
Your yes.
Yeah.
You're a professional ghost hunter.
yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah,
actually have a
absolutely.
badge. That's what I told him.
And it was funny how they were trying to quiz me. And I was just taking the story somewhere else all the time. It's like, so when was the first time you investigated? See, now investigation is really fun.
Right.
And we do it often. Next question.
But I've never, how you say, but I've never been indicted.
But I've never been indicted. And you won't catch my fingerprints.
It wasn't until we got flown to New York. They flew us to New York, and it was a room full of people in suits. Like, these are like the production head of head networks.
It's network.
They wanted to meet us. So we walk in this room. It's about 17 white people sitting around a table. You're like, oh, okay.
It's gonna be
So it
cool.
is real.
This could go either way.
It could go either way. And it went the right way,
Yeah,
though.
right.
It went
But
the
we
right
was like, look, man, to be honest with y'all, look, we're not trying to do a show where y'all trying to prop us up to be these professional ghost hunters. We've never done it before, but I think that's where the magic is in this show.
Absolutely.
You have 3 real life friends coming into an environment that they've never been in and giving honest, actual reactions. And that's what we brought to the table. And we told them, like, we didn't want to be in a position where you have us trying to lie to people, saying that we've been doing this shit for the past 100 years and this is what we do in our spare time. And we're these Ed and Lorraine Warren's proteges
Right.
and all of this stuff.
As much as
I didn't even know who Ed and
To be
Lorraine
honest, I
was
just
back then.
you still don't.
when we did the Conjuring episode,
That's what we found out.
last season.
Oh yeah, man, I love.
I know the Lorraine
Shireen.
Hotel.
I love Shireen and Sydney and Shireen.
Oh my god.
No, what's funny is like, even though it was like this big like out of water experience for us, right? We were just kind of like fish out of water in this moment. We were new, and as vulnerable as we were, I think that really helped our journey. I think people were able to connect to us more because of the authenticity and vulnerability that they saw in these episodes. I mean, it's 3 best friends, and like if you put us in a terrifying situation, like you really get to see our real reactions, but you get to learn. We're learning so much about each other in front of the world, and that's like a really vulnerable place for us, but a beautiful place for our show. And I think that was the earnestness that really catapulted us.
Because that's funny, because that you said that we were learning each other. Because at the time, Dalen and Juwan, they had already had their friendship as far as like line brothers, going to college together, master programs. I met Dalen by just random project that we were doing together that really brought us and a lot of other talented people together that kind of like made like a really impact. So we were like vibing on that. So I didn't even meet Juwan until we kind of like started talking about, us like really linking and doing this. And so, each investigation was like,
So y'all was working together before that, weren't y'all?
We started working together our first season.
First
but we
season.
We had crossed paths. So
Yeah.
we were both in television. All 3 of us were in television and film before we did the show.
Right.
But we worked behind the scenes. So I did wardrobe. He did hair and makeup. He was also doing
nice.
wardrobe. And so like Marcus and I, like we knew of each other. He was cutting hair. I was in the wardrobe department. So it's kind of like we knew each other, but we had never really worked together. This project came about. And that's when we kind of like had moments where we had to sit down and just have conversations and really kind of got to know each other. But we didn't start working together until I want to say
Yes.
our first show, our first season.
our first season,
We started working on a project outside of Ghost Brothers.
which was kind of crazy because we were literally going from, I think we were doing either promo or we were still filming a few episodes when we started a show. The show that me and him were working on was called Survivor's Remorse. It was a Stars Network show. He was doing the wardrobe, I was doing the cuts. And like you said, when you're working on set together, I'm in one trailer, he's in another trailer. We only kind of come together when the actors are on set and start kind of chopping it up then. But it was cool because like we had a whole show and we were working as like just regular guys, you know what I'm saying? So people were like, y'all have a TV show? Why y'all even here? Like, cause we only getting $2 per episode. The first season was rough, but
I also don't think anybody understands that notion that a lot of these shows, even at Taps started where they're always doing plumbing. They're doing their job, and it's because there's not. Again, professional ghost hunter. It's like a professional ghost hunter. You mean somebody who's making their living because they're chasing ghosts and not selling the fact that they're chasing ghosts, or writing the book that they sell because they're chasing ghosts. And it's interesting because that tells us how passion oriented it is, how inspired by the talent it is. I know when you guys first showed up on the scene, I immediately latched on because you approached it with humor, which is something that was just missing. Because if you take ghost hunting too seriously, you're missing a whole part of the experience. Right. Because humor and fear go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so watching you guys just riff off of each other or in the situation really did it connected. It was a far more connective experience than watching talking heads explain and go through the very serious ghost hunt.
And you'd be surprised at how And this is just being honest. Like, a lot of network people typically aren't very creative.
Sure.
And that's not even in a bad sense. It's just they see what's good and they're going to, lean into their investment. So the first season, they were really on us about trying to calm our humor down. Like, y'all remember all that stuff? It was like, we really need you guys to be a little bit more serious. And it's like, I don't know. I just, for some odd reason, all of us kind of like fought back on that, but not necessarily in like a defining way. It was like, well, if you can make us not be funny in this situation, then good luck to you. But like, we're seeing things that we've never seen before, reacting off of each other, like never seen each other in fear, never seen each other like, like handle any of these crazy situations. So it's like, it was impossible for us not to have some type of way to where we can break the tension when we're in something that we've never seen before.
And just because like we find something funny or there's a underlining humor doesn't mean we're not taking it serious.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
And that was really the interesting thing that we had to kind of always kind of get across.
But that's just our personalities. Like, you put us in any situation. If we got kidnapped together right now,
it's gonna be jokes.
It's gonna be jokes in the back of that van.
Why you over there crying? Somebody get my name.
Do you see it took 3 people to grab Marcus?
That's because I was fighting. I was strong. You see, I didn't take nobody to get Dalen in. He just got in.
Just walked in by himself.
He walked in and put the blindfold on by himself and said, "Take me." Use me.
But it's but it's things like that make ghost hunting fun, because like something we talk about on the show even is a lot of times ghost hunting can be really boring. It's just like sitting around waiting for
sometimes.
something right. Sometimes.
What investigations have y'all been on where but I feel what you're saying. Yeah.
Ghost hunting is like,
it's 99%.
Yeah.
It's like fishing.
Police work. If you ask a police officer, like the thrill of being a police officer, what's the percentage of that? Like on your day to day, they'll tell you like 95% of the day is just you riding around. It's very small percentage where something interesting happens. And it's the same way with ghost hunting. Like, it's very rare that, as soon as you walk into a place, doors start slamming.
But we are part, like us as a community of like that have like production, like television shows or what, we're part to blame though, because like we're making something that's entertainment. So like our show, yes, it's an hour long, 30 minutes long, and you're thinking that something is happening all the time.
Every 3 or 4 minutes in this hour.
But you don't realize that we've investigated this place for a
3
week.
days.
It takes 3 to 4 days to film every single night.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like people get this false sense of like what an investigation is actually like.
Yeah.
It's you literally are sitting there for hours on end trying to just see if you can get one piece of evidence that may or may not make sense to you at the time. Like, you're trying to build the story together, and it's wild. It's like watching paint dry.
Bro, oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that. So like on my YouTube channel, all I do is go to cemeteries and just use spirit box sessions. Right?
Shouts out to it. Shouts out to it.
Hey.
Graveyard shift.
Congratulations, bro.
100K subscribers.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
This man started this joint a year ago. Was it a year?
Less than a year, baby.
Less than a year.
11 months, baby.
What was your goal? Tell them what your goal was.
My goal for 1 year was 15,000 subscribers.
Now where you at?
I am at 100,000.
Where your pockets feel like?
Hey, listen.
We ain't talking about that right now.
We doing, baby.
Come on, baby.
No, man. But what's
that's
interesting
fantastic.
is, thank you. I appreciate that, y'all. Thank you. Yeah, Dalen Spratt on YouTube. Dalen Spratt, and the show that I do is called The Graveyard Shift. So but I do spirit box sessions. So I go to cemeteries and I go to people's graves. I cut on a spirit box and I try to just have a conversation. But people are so used to watching television, they're like, why don't you just do an EVP at the grave? Like, do a whole video just doing an EVP at the graveyard. And I was like, okay, let's really talk this out from a production standpoint. A spirit box works because there's constant chatter coming out and you can kind of have a conversation. An EVP is just you holding a recorder, asking a question, and then recording silence for 10 to 20 to 30 seconds, and then trying to listen back to see if you hear something. People don't realize it takes you 30, 40, 50 times of doing this and listening.
To get one
to get
high.
a high.
Did
know
they say,
what I'm saying?
did they say hi?
Sometimes you have to go back on
Right.
your computer with your headset.
Like, it's
and
not
really.
And you're right. I blame us on television for putting out an hour-long television show that got damn 30 EVPs, a shadow figure, a door slamming, and
I don't know
windows
how we
cracked.
did it. I don't know how we
Somebody
did it.
getting their booty rubbed.
Yeah.
Right.
Every episode.
Every episode.
Somebody get filled
touched,
up.
and it's
Filled
not
up.
by an angel.
But again,
Come on
like
now,
you
no
said, we're
Della.
in there for 5 days. We're doing 3 days of investigating. We're doing 2 days of interviews in this place. So you're shooting hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage every
Right.
single week
Exactly.
to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
You done?
I
He
just
felt-
had
he
to vent
felt- he
a
felt
little
a way
bit.
about
You had
that.
to vent,
No.
man.
That's good stuff.
That man felt a way about that.
So we saw, well, we've seen the episode of y'all doing the Fitzpatrick Hotel, and we wanted to compare with how your experience was, because we recently went out there and we just got that place. I don't know what is happening with their ghosts, but they're starved. They need attention because they were like, as soon as we came in.
He was with it.
So how is it for y'all? If I know that was like season 1, so it's been a while, but like still.
No.
Yeah, it's the Fitzpatrick Hotel, mostly because we got really interesting Estes method sessions out of that. Which
I thought you about to say something else. We got really interesting STDs out there.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Spiritually
We
You gotta watch
transmitted.
out for
Talking about
those.
spiritually
Gotta watch
transmitted
out for those
diseases.
spiritually transmitted diseases, man. They come
They
in
be
hot.
out here.
They come in. They'll
You gotta
get you.
wrap up. You gotta
They'll
wrap
get
up
you,
in prayer,
especially if
baby.
you like a human trigger object. Like, oh,
it's true. Yeah, we were just like it felt like they were just not, no pun intended, dying to talk. You know, like they really wanted to, especially the little girl spirit. I don't know if you encountered her at all.
That was my room.
Yes,
That
which
was-
Chris
yeah.
stayed in.
That was
as
my
well.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were the only people in the entire place. They put me in that room,
Yep.
and then they were all behind the front desk,
Yep.
as far as humanly possible in the hotel.
Sounds about right.
And I'm just like alone in Mirrorland.
Yep.
And
And
I'm
guess
like,
why that mirror? You're alone in Mirrorland, and that's still active.
Yeah, I saw that. And no, thank you.
A non-closed portal that still is open. It's still open at Fitzpatrick Hotel due to Juwan Mass doing a Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Bloody of all the
things.
things to do. And
I'm a tough act to follow.
but no, that was real though. That was a very active spot. I mean, a lot of things happened. One, that was the first time I ever got touched by a ghost. And it was a nice caress. Very, very, very polite and very nice, soft,
consensual?
At first it wasn't,
Okay, right.
but they
warmed up to it.
convinced me. They convinced me.
that's
Okay, we can
spiritually
have it happen.
transmitted disease.
Right.
Yeah. We can have it happen. They gave me their paperwork and everything, but nonetheless, no. Also in the basement, I experienced some crazy stuff. I was sitting in an isolation situation, and I don't know if y'all. There was like a door that started lighting up.
Oh.
Like the rim of the joint started lighting up. I had never seen anything like that in my life. That's why I went right back up them stairs. So
Yeah, actually, so the first night that we were there, I was in my room, and they basically called me like, "What are you doing?" Because they heard this huge crashing sound, like just an ungodly crashing sound, which was a little weird because they think that somehow I was making this ungodly crashing
Well,
sound.
we thought you fell down the stairs.
Right.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like we were like, oh God, Chris is
But-
dying.
The second night, we were going down into the basement, and the cellar door slipped out of my hands and slammed shut, and that was the sound they heard. They heard that cellar door slamming all on its own in the middle of the night.
wow, I'm telling you.
There's something off with
Yeah,
that cellar.
That's an off place. Oh, that cellar
It
was
was an
crazy.
active location.
Yeah, because all
Yes.
that. What wasn't that where they hung the young lady or something?
Yeah, Polly Barclay.
Holly Barclay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Marcus knowing his history.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't get her name to save my life during the episode. Y'all remember? I think y'all made fun of me for that. What's her name, Marcus? Shut up. Marley, Parley, Beckerson. So,
It really was so active, you know. It's and it's interesting because it, like, after that investigation, because it was so active, we were like, oh God, everybody's gonna think this is just like how every investigation goes. I'm like, no, these are ghosts in the middle of Georgia with nothing around them, and they're like, please interact with us. And so it was interesting that y'all went there, and it seemed like you were getting some pretty similar activity in the way of, I know the flashlight situation was happening.
Yeah or
You
no?
were- Yeah.
The spirit board that we made.
Yeah, no.
Lord.
That was a new one to me.
Yeah.
The spirit circle, the
Yeah.
spin the bottle.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with that one
Yeah,
until
yeah.
that episode.
We weren't either.
We weren't either.
We
We were forced
definitely
to do that.
weren't. Yeah.
'Cause they-
Were you really?
Yeah, because we couldn't use a Ouija board on television because of
Copyright,
the name,
right?
copyright,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So we was just like,
life size.
Spirit
let's just
board.
make one ourselves.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, huh.
Yeah,
That seems very invitingly dangerous.
Yeah, and
And then
yeah,
you're
surprisingly it
sitting
worked.
on the board, in the board. I was like,
Listen, bro, listen. That was probably the 5th time in life that we had ever investigated anything, y'all. We was winging it.
We're living loose, baby.
But it worked. Let's just say it worked.
Right.
Living loose is what they call it. You're just living wild and loose. Fast and loose. Is what
Fast and loose.
fast and loose is what we were doing in those
Wild and free,
investigations.
fast and loose.
There you go.
So for your investigation tonight, what are you hoping to get out of it at the
Some
Sorrel-Weed House?
love.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You got touched last time, so is that what you're looking for this time?
Hey, man.
So is that
Touch
now
me.
a standard thing that happens to you?
Not just to
specifically?
me.
Somebody always gets
Somebody
touched, it
gets
seems
touched.
like.
They really like Dalen a lot of times, though.
No, they don't, Marcus. Why would you sit up here and say that?
Dalen, you lie. You actually lie very well, and you're doing it right now because you know those ghosts love you. Every 5 shows, who touched my ass? We was at the. Where was we at the? What was the lumber yard? Sawmill. Oh my gosh.
But that wasn't necessarily an ass grab. That was I felt like trying to take my wallet.
Check. Okay, a pickpocket.
really?
Because the whole story behind that place was like they would kill people to, get better wages. So like if your boss or coworker might make a little dollar extra more than you, and he's working a little bit too close to the chipper, you might just, you know what I mean?
Oh, good
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. You knock them on out, knock out the competition. But so yeah, it felt like Juwan was standing behind me, and we were interviewing someone. And I thought that Juwan had stuck his raw hand,
I didn't like how you set that up. I didn't like how you
his raw hand on my
punchline
ass.
fell on me grabbing your ass, bro. And that just wasn't how.
With your raw hand. With your raw hand.
Tell me, man.
I don't know
I
if
said,
there's a raw hand. Does he lick his
I
hand or
didn't put
something?
the whole accusation on
Raw-
you,
He
man.
licked
Raw-
his hand. That's how you knew it was raw.
Bro.
Spit on
But the suggestion is
Raw
that it's something
impl-
he would do.
Raw implies that it was skin to skin. That's what he was trying to say.
what it felt like. That's what it felt like.
You went through that shirt right there.
I'm gonna get the wallet the hard
Right in his
way.
hand.
Squeeze on it.
Guess who? I hope they don't find the
But no, I thought that's what it was. But Juwan swore up and down that he did it. And I ain't see him jack his hand back.
You didn't see him jack his hand back.
By the time I looked. But yeah, it literally felt like somebody put their hand like on my cheek where my wallet was.
But that's funny. To answer your question, because we're straying. Lord, forgive us.
That's okay.
But
That
no,
man said raw
honestly, this
hair.
investigation at Sorrel-Weed House is going to be, it's just going to be like a paranormal 101. Like a lot of times people come out and they have not been paranormal investigated before. So we just kind of show them the ropes. This is a good location because this is where we actually shot our sizzle. So people don't know that. So like we're going to go and just kind of give them the little 1, 2s, and 3s of paranormal investigating. And then it's always tough because you got a group.
Right.
So then, like, it's really tough to do,
Contamination.
like, get evidence because of, like he said, contamination.
So basically what we're saying is just lower those expectations.
Yes.
When you come in,
Right.
this
And that's
weekend,
worth noting because there's organizations and there are ghost hunts available, pay for play all over the country.
Where
What they do?
where the people be?
That's why the bed's in the back. I got you.
Out here, paying to play out here, baby.
But if you're going on these ghost hunts with 30 to 40 people, you are really cutting the difference. You're now just saturating the place with a lot of different energies and a lot of different people looking in different ways, and the experience can be watered down. So you have to kind of pull back on the expectation of it being a ghost hunting television show atmosphere and being a good learning experience.
Yeah, we tell people all the time, man, ghosts are people too. So you can't come in
Right.
here trying to expect them to jump through hoops just because it's 40 people in here.
Yep.
Right.
Like, what can you do? Do something.
Brought y'all to my house.
Like, bro, it's 11:30.
Just because I'm telling you to dance don't mean you going to dance right now. It just doesn't work.
It's
that way.
11:30 and y'all all are in my house.
I'm really hoping y'all will leave.
That's how, like, you remember back in the day when you'd be sleeping, your mama call you downstairs to
Right.
go dance.
Get up, Marcus. Show them that little dance you did earlier today.
It's 12 o'clock. It's a school night. They out there playing cards.
Man, what? That's funny.
It's so true, and that's actually something I tell guests a lot because people come to Savannah and they're like, I expect to see a ghost in this town because we have that, stigma with our ghosts. Our ghosts are hams. They love attention. So that's good. You're likely to have an experience if you look hard enough, I guess. But I always tell people my version is ghosts aren't on the payroll. I can't make a ghost just pop out of the walls. It's not going to happen. If it does happen, great. You had an experience. That's wonderful. But also, some people are not great to have in a paranormal sense because some people are just not the energy that you want in that situation. And
That's
I'm like,
real.
It's and you can't tell people that. Like,
We've sometimes experienced people in the group that are just really here to antagonize.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like a friend of somebody. They
Right.
came in and they're demanding to see a ghost, but they're doing it in such like the most like obnoxious way possible. And like that really is unfortunate for like those who are really trying to take this this time seriously. But I don't know, it's to your point. I definitely understand.
Well, yeah, and it's and at the very least they're going into a really awesome house, and getting to experience that because the history of the Sorrel-Weed House is just so fascinating, and all of the experiences that people have had there. I mean, you can't deny those experiences, especially when so many people have had the same ones over the years. So I'm glad that y'all are doing the Sorrel-Weed House. It's like one of our favorite houses in the city.
Oh yeah,
Great time.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Calvin, man. And
Oh my
runs it
gosh,
up here,
he's
man.
great.
That's the homie, man.
Calvin.
We love Calvin, and he has done such a good job. If you have not watched that deep dive that we did on the Sorrel-Weed House, and we interviewed Calvin and a couple of the tour guides, you should watch that episode. I believe, JT, is that a Parajunkie exclusive? Become a Parajunkie so you can see that episode.
So y'all better hop on that Parajunkie.
Y'all better get on it. Y'all better get on it. Tie off. Tie off on that thing. On that doggone parent
That's
trumpet.
exactly where it came from, though, is because, Chris made the comparison of when you have your first paranormal experience, it's like ghost heroin. You get
So y'all were strung out at one point too.
So, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I could have sold to you. Okay. That's what I need to know.
Them customers, baby.
That's how we count them. That's all I heard. Cha-ching.
That's all you heard.
That's all I heard. I didn't hear nothing else but cha-ching. I'm feeding it, baby.
Exactly.
We got the food
and,
later.
our listeners, they ran with that one, and so they named themselves the Parajunkies.
Pair of junkies. I like
Love
that.
Yeah, and
I should make a T-shirt with a
Right?
big old heroin needle.
With a ghost in it.
With a ghost.
With a ghost inside. Like, oh.
Go ahead, give me 20% of that one.
Yeah,
guys.
that's actually
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can have Halloween if we can have that idea.
Oh, man, the heroin needle might go a little bit longer than that Halloween kid, baby. No, I'm just playing.
It's crossover.
You got crossover appeal, baby. Right.
You gonna put the
Forever.
you gonna put the logo right here? You gonna put the logo right here on the arm? That's gonna be kind of cool though.
That would be cool. But
That's dope.
yeah.
What's the craziest thing that's happened on your YouTube channel? Madison, go ahead and ask that. So I don't have
Oh yeah. So JT just asked from the ether, what's the craziest thing that like paranormal experience that you've had on your YouTube channel?
I don't know if it's crazy, but it was just really, really interesting. I was in the cemetery, and I typically try to look for older graves, like visually, and I know it sounds bad, just like visually appealing headstones.
Yeah.
Something that's just not like, a square that's on the ground. Nothing's wrong with that, but just as a backdrop, you always like elaborate something for people to look at.
If you like saw this fireplace in it, you'd be like,
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? But so I was walking around the mausoleums in this one cemetery in Mableton, Georgia. And, the crypts, the ones that look like little mailboxes, but they're all like people in them.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just walking by, and y'all, I stumble. I literally tripped over what I thought was like, I don't know, my foot or just the concrete, just being clumsy. I stumble. So in my mind, I tell my audience, I fell for a reason, obviously, so why not just do a spirit box session here? So I sat down, the mausoleums are behind me, or the crypts are behind me, and I'm just like, does anybody want to talk to me? They're like, yeah. And I was like, where are you? They was like, look around. So I looked this way, and they was like, no, the other way. Oh, shit. Okay, all right. So I looked this way, and there was literally this one name on the crypt, and it said Hakeem Williams. But he passed away last year, 2022.
Oh, wow.
I never try to talk to anyone that passed away in recent years, just out of respect for their families that are living, because people don't believe in it, people
Right.
don't agree with it. So everyone I talked to is like 1800s.
Right.
Something was just like Google Hakeem Williams that passed away in 2022. And so, I Google him, and this change.org, the signature, it pops up, and it was from his mother. And apparently he was killed in prison last year, and his mother is just trying to figure out what happened.
Oh, wow.
So I pull this article up. I'm like, damn, all right. And so I do the spirit box session. He tells us his name, and he says that I was asking specific questions about what happened, and I was like, is there any evidence? And they was like, there's no evidence. He made a comment that the person who was responsible for it is not there anymore, and he kept saying, set up. These are what kept coming out the box.
Wow.
That was the end of the session. I didn't think nothing else of it. I posted it on YouTube. Literally, a girl that we went to college with, Jania. I don't know if you remember Jania, dark-skinned Jania, man. I ain't talked to this girl since college. She hits me up on Instagram, and she was like, Dalen, I've been messaged by like 3 people that I don't know that they're looking for you. I said, they messaged you, they looking for me. I'm all tough and shit. Like, who looking for me? who looking for Dalen?
You were real mystical.
Yeah, he get real.
She was like, are you out here talking to like dead people or something? And she doesn't follow the ghost side of Dalen. This is somebody I went to college with 20 years ago. And I was like, well, I kind of do this YouTube show where I go to cemeteries. And she was like, well, whoever you talk to.
Was that how you typed it?
Yeah, I was like,
okay, just making sure.
Like this. She was like, whoever you talk to, their mother, stepfather, and the mother of their child is trying to reach you.
Holy cow.
And I was like, did they sound mad?
Now he's scared. All that pull out your chest.
That deflated real quick.
Nothing in that chest no more.
Was they mad? Because you know they don't play like that,
yeah, I
right?
wasn't listening to nothing.
You say he had a gun when you seen him, right?
Who you don't play like that?
Who play like that? Who play like that, Craig?
But nah.
Who play like that, Smokey?
So I end up checking my messages in like the dummy folder of Instagram. You know, they have like that third folder that you never check. There was a message from this young lady, and it was the young man Hakeem's, it was the mother of his child. And she was telling me, she was like, Dalen, I'm writing you this message with tears in my eyes. She was like, I just watched the video that you did with Hakeem. And she was like, what else did you get from him? Because everything that you were saying was absolutely correct.
Oh, wow.
She said that he said that the person who did it was no longer there. That was one thing. He said that there was no evidence, and he said that he was set up. She said what happened was a security guard handcuffed him in his cell. His cellmate then stabbed him to death. The video footage was taken away and was removed, so there's no evidence. The person responsible for it is no longer there. The security guard quit and moved somewhere else. And him being set up, she tied him or handcuffed him and allowed the prisoner to do it. She was like, we just don't have any way to prove any of this. You know what I mean? So we're battling, trying to figure this out. But the fact that Hakeem validated that stuff to you, she said, just lets us know, like, so that just blew my mind.
That's
incredible.
incredible.
It took what I did to a whole nother level, because it's easy to go sit in a graveyard, have a conversation with somebody that passed away in the 1800s, and you're hearing what's coming out the box, but you're just playing verbal charades, trying to piece something together, as opposed to someone who literally died 10 months ago and are telling you what happened to them, and their living family is validating what they're saying.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy, yeah.
Now you like Batman.
Bro, listen,
Right.
I left there, bro. I was like, okay, now I got to solve some crime.
Yeah, now
you can really do this for the people.
Bro, I left
now
there.
there's a series behind it.
Listen, man, I went to John Benet Ramsey right after that. I went to her grave.
Did you really?
I did. God damn it, I did. Did nothing come from it.
Okay.
But I went.
But you was close.
I was close.
I was waiting for a new clue. I'm like, is this going to be
she has you got to watch that video. She has a pinwheel. Someone left a pinwheel at her grave. Y'all, hand to God, if you watch the video, it's not an ounce of wind blowing that day. There's trees all in the background, bushes, no leaves are moving, anything. I'm like, hey, John Bonet, do you mind if I sit down and talk to you? This pinwheel just spinning. I'm talking about, like, you would have thought a car was going, like a wheel on a tire
was revving up,
Right.
yeah.
There was no wind. So we literally have like a 30-minute conversation with her just stopping and starting this pinwheel.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
That's
that
fantastic.
stuff is real. That stuff
Yeah.
is 100% real.
kid spirits love those pinwheels, though. It's like a really interesting way to investigate if you haven't tried that. There's a pinwheel out at. Have you been to the abandoned amusement park, Shawnee? Lake Shawnee, is that?
Lake Shawnee.
Yeah, Lake Shawnee out in West Virginia. It is. That place is creepy. It's a bunch of kid ghosts, and they have a pinwheel. And apparently, like the little boy who drowned in the lake or whatever when it was an amusement park, he communicates through that. And we caught it on camera when we were doing. It was the same way. We walked up and we were like, "Hey, if you're here, can you spin the pinwheel?" And it just goes, and we're like, and same thing, no wind, nothing at all. And we caught it on camera where he started doing, that thing like old people do where they go like, "Ooh, ooh," like with the glasses. He literally started flicking my glasses on camera, and we're like, this is so creepy. But I think kids find it more interesting and easier to communicate through simple objects like that.
Yeah.
Because it's familiar and it's not scary. Same reason why the Boo Bears work.
Or cat balls.
Or cat balls and things like that, because it's like, it's not a REM pod where you sit it out and it's like, touch that glowing sphere or
a strange canister that screams at you if you get close to it.
Right. Exactly. That's insane.
Were they calling those bears Boo Bears before we started calling them that?
No, we called it Gangsta Boo.
We called it Gangsta Boo, right?
It was always a Boo Bear.
Okay.
Yeah, the Boo Bears.
Boo Buddy or something like that.
Boo Buddy.
Yeah, something
Boo
like
Buddy.
that. And there's all sorts of ones, but yeah, if you do go back and you do get any kind of evidence, let us know, because I love. I do not love it for the reason that I'm happy that she's dead. I love that case just because I find it incredibly interesting. But y'all, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Amazing.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
you're just so fun. Like all three of you are so fun,
Absolutely.
and
I really took it personal. I thought she was just talking about Dalen for a second.
Listen, man,
Oh,
listen,
no.
guys.
You
She
was just
definitely
so
wasn't
funny.
doing that. She definitely wasn't doing
I
that.
was like, wow.
Talent knows talent, guys.
Definitely.
no,
I'm really feeling the segregation right now.
it's all right.
Side. Y'all over there, we over here.
This chair keeps me on point, baby. Literally.
It's on point. It's in a
Don't get
point.
comfortable.
No, honestly, y'all have just changed everything for paranormal investigation, and you're really people to look up to in the community. So
That's dope.
Yeah, it's
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like we cut the line, but I'm not mad.
I am not going to front either.
There is a
Skip the
thing
line
called
a little
affirmative action.
yeah.
I would say that far.
And we are
Even more
grateful
than
for
that
it.
is there's the full-on stigma that we just like accepted forever, because I'm reminded of the Eddie Murphy joke about how short a horror movie would be, how short Amityville Horror would be if a black family bought it, because they just like get out, gone.
All right,
Bye.
For sure.
Because
got it.
even like I've been doing ghost tours in this town and investigations in this town for 30 years, and there is a whole. We don't talk about that in our family. We don't explore that.
Right.
We have our faith, and our faith locks the door on that. And if it does happen, it's the family. It does not go past the porch. So that really creates this interesting thing, because I think that since you've been so public and so successful, there has been a uptick in black ghost hunters, which is amazing. Because it is a field that was missing an entire demographic, really.
Representation. Absolutely.
It's almost like coming out the paranormal door, to be totally honest. Like a lot of times,
Paranormal closet.
yeah, the paranormal closet. There you go. I didn't want to come
broom
out that.
closet.
Yeah, the broom closet. So the broom closet.
Marcus came out the closet.
No, that's why I didn't want it to
That's
be.
a soundbite.
I didn't want it to be.
Crazy.
No, it didn't look like that.
I saw what
Definitely
Dalen
wasn't
did there.
You see how he tried to manipulate narratives? He's a
soundbite.
narrative shifter.
We'll change it. If it's not the closet, it's the pantry.
The pantry.
The
Yeah.
paranormal pantry.
Now you trying to be
Marcus
funny.
came out
Now
the
you trying to be funny.
pantry.
Marcus came out the pantry.
Now you trying to
Now
be
you're trying to be funny. Okay. I see what's happening with them green pants. I see. Why you look down? You just look down for no reason. But no, what real talk though, like a lot of times, like even when you see, it's funny because like now, like you said, now that we do it, like there's so many like African Americans, like brothers and sisters who come up to me and be like, yo man, like I didn't want to tell nobody this, but every time I go into my basement, like I hear down home blues in the back and some Black and Mild smoke always comes. I think it's my Uncle Johnny. Is that right? You know what I'm saying? And we be like, yeah, that's, confirm or deny or whatever. I mean, like you have people who are just like really, feeling comfortable, not necessarily having to differentiate between their faith and their curiosity. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're blending both of them in now. So I think that's what we kind of do.
Now, you know what's crazy, man? This past weekend, I had my 20-year high school reunion.
Okay.
20 years. Bro.
Word.
And I went back to the high school reunion, man. There was this one guy there, and this was like the thug of the school. Like,
You got bodies.
To be honest, I'm surprised to see you here. You know what I mean? Like,
You said you out?
right.
You out?
made
Okay.
it. Parole early.
Okay. Who wrote the letter?
So, like, I'm sitting up there chilling, man, doing my thing, man. Like, had a little drink in my hand, minding my business. And I feel somebody tap me on the shoulder, and it was him. He was like, "Hey, Dalen." And I was like, I just went right back to high school. I ain't got no lunch money. I ain't got no lunch money.
Hey, dog, stall me out, bro.
Man, he was like, "Nah, Dalen, man, put your lunch money back in your pocket, man." He was like, "Man, I want to tell you, man." He was like, "Man, I like what you doing out here." What you talking about, man? He was like, "Man, them ghosts."
Yeah.
I said, "What you mean, Carl?" He was like, "Man, say, man, I believe in that stuff, bro." He said, "I done caught your show a couple times, man. I just want to say, man, I appreciate what you doing, man. I ain't, I ain't never really talked to nobody about, the stuff I done seen." He was like, "But seeing you do it, bro," I was like, "Damn, man, like it lets me know I ain't really tripping."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, dog, that's crazy, bro. You used to beat people up all through high school,
And now you believe in ghosts.
right?
Yeah.
Because they're chasing you.
Yeah,
I beat a couple
those
people
are
down.
the souls of the people that you dealt with. Like, call karma, buddy.
That's what it's called. They're haunting you, my brother. But
yeah,
no,
bro,
it's funny
crazy.
because even like, man, I also cut hair. So I cut a lot of celebrities' hair. One of the celebrities I cut is Nas. And it's amazing that every time we're on tour, he's like, "Hey, have y'all gone investigating any lately?" He said he's seen every episode of Ghost Brothers. And it's like, I wonder who else watches it. If Nas is watching it,
Right.
I know Jay-Z's watching it too. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody
least
else
heard of it.
Heard of it. Everybody, and that's the funny thing about it. Like, we were in Chicago, we were staying at a hotel. The bellman, another brother, was just like, he was like, "Hey man, I didn't want to say nothing because Nas is on here, but I love your show, dog." I was like, wow, you actually recognizing.
Say it louder.
Yeah,
Nas,
that I'm here. That, you know what I'm saying, like, that you watch our show and I'm here doing another job. It's just funny to me, and it's kind of crazy.
I think the biggest one for me was I don't know if y'all remember this. We was in New York, man, and this was after the first season of Ghost Brothers aired.
Okay.
There was a producer there that worked with Oprah, and she said that when our show first came out, they was all in the room together.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, these are these black ghost hunters," and Oprah was like, "Who? What?" And she was like, "Yeah, the Ghost Brothers." And she's like, Oprah was like, "Oh, they're cute." I said, "Oh, shit!"
Stand there, watch out, brother.
Watch
I
Oprah,
do
listen,
not.
I don't mind being taken care of.
Hey,
Baby.
I don't mind.
I can play my role, baby.
I'll play my position.
You can be a brother husband.
I'll be a brother husband. Easy.
Come on, baby. I'm a brother husband, baby.
I'm not gonna cause no fuss.
Right.
Exactly.
But I was like, that's dope. Oprah said we was cute, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of
We got
people rock with
memories,
us.
man. It's really been a journey, but a blessing.
Absolutely. Well, y'all are only going up always, I'm sure. And so we're excited to see what you guys come up with next. And I'm very excited to watch all of your cemetery videos now.
Go to YouTube.
Absolutely. They're
That's
all
going to
on
be cool.
there.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do y'all have anything else you want to plug before we wrap it up?
We got New Jersey coming up, right? In November.
Yep, got a New Jersey Paracon coming up next weekend.
Very nice.
I mean, outside of our weekend, we got going on right now here in Savannah. We got a whole lineup of things. So I don't know if you guys are out. We do have a couple of tickets still available. StraightGhostin.com. You want to check that out. But, man, you can follow us all on social media. I'm Juwan Mass on all things social. You can definitely check out my YouTube channel, too. I got some stuff coming out. So please, I would welcome all subscribers soon.
All righty. Well, thank you guys again. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Try to get some sleep because, my God, like, you're just going to be so busy. So, yeah, y'all try to rest. Don't work yourselves too hard. But, well, thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And with that, my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And stay spooky, y'all. And straight ghost them, right?
Yeah.
And straight goes to the pair of
spooky, baby.
junkies.
Yeah. Get that fix.
Yeah.
Get some Narcan.